An update is definitely needed, so grab yourself some popcorn, take a seat, and let's watch this video together. There has been some progress, so there has to be an update. And why not start with the saltwater tank? I'm talking about the Red Sea Max E170, guys. This is my main display tank, and I couldn't ask for any more. This tank has been doing really well. The corals have been thriving. They have been recovering their colors, and like I said, it's just on cruise control, waiting for me to add more corals. But I am right now taking taking the chill pill, waiting, doing things more slowly. I think if patience is key when it comes to a reef tank. In my past experience of setting up a bunch of tanks, I did everything really fast, and this is the first tank that I'm doing everything with patience and time and actually listening to people's advice. Shout out to Benny, because he told me just get the corals that you want, that it's a coral that will call somebody's attention. When they go to your house, they visit you, they'll be like, oh, what is that? So that is what I want to do. That's my goal for this tank. Get probably not high-end corals, maybe some, but get corals that will call people's attention. And that's what I'll be doing now. Man, my mushrooms are doing wonderful. My frog spawns, my Euphilia. There's one or two Euphilia there that they aren't doing that well, how I would want them to be. But there's nothing else that I could ask of these corals. And I'm talking about the corals that I had previously. They've gone through so much, but they're recovering slowly but surely. For those that didn't know the backstory to this, I thought that my corals had brown jelly disease, but no, it was just me moving corals from place to place, causing them to stress, lose color, shrink, and when I tried to dip them, try to do something, I just completely killed them. So I am an unappropriate reefer, a irresponsible reefer, but I am still here, and the corals still love me or hate me. I'm not so sure, but they are doing good. And I'm changing, not for me, but for the corals, for the fish, for all my life species that I have in this tank. I want the best for them, so I need to put more focus, more dedication to my tank. And I think what you plant is what you sow. So being that patience, that dedication, I see a lot of improvement, not only in this tank but in all my other tanks. That's why I am really what's that word I'm looking for? I just can't wait. I was really happy to make this video to show you guys what's been going around in the fish room, what's been going on with all my tanks. And to be honest, guys, there's just something in this tank that tells me that everything's gonna be so successful. Again, for those that didn't know, everything is basically stock light, return pump. I've tried to use the Red Sea skimmer that came with this all-in-one system, but I just never got it to work. So far I'm not using no skimmer. I am using some Chemi Pure Blue, and besides that, there's no other things that I'm using for the filtration. And look at my jawbreaker mushroom. Has some green. I probably had this little piece here for more than a year now, I think so. And just me being a bad reefer caused it to be stunted, but now I'm seeing some growth. I'm seeing not only the jawbreaker but the kryptonite. It has recovered its color, and it has opened up. And I don't really put my hands in this tank. All I do is just clean it, do a water change every 2 weeks, and the mushrooms, the corals, the Euphilia are doing well. They have all recovered their color. And then I also noticed the new coral that I got, the like this mushroom, that it's getting some red and some dark green. And this thing's gonna be a freaking, like, the show of the tank. I don't know what you call the coral that pops out, but this is going to be one of those corals that's going to pop out for this tank. And I think also the bounce mushroom's going to be a perfect specimen, as well as the Jawbreaker and the Kryptonite and the Sunkiss. I'm just a mushroom person at this moment, but I am thinking of getting other corals like more Euphilia torches, frog spawns, and probably some Blastos and some Akins, and probably just to finish it off, probably just get a Scully. But yeah, Digitatas, I used to have bad luck with them, but I actually put the Neuro 5 Wave Maker. The current is hitting them, and they're starting to grow. I know they look like they're dying, but that's how they were before I add them to this tank. But they are recovering, so that's a good thing. And now the fish that house this tank is my black snowstorm clownfish. He is doing well. I do want to get another pair for him or a tank mate. I'm thinking either of another black storm or a mocha storm, or if not, I was also thinking about the black phantom clownfish. But clownfish or fish in general, everything in general right now in the hobby is a little bit expensive because inflation. But I'm just going to wait until I see a nice deal. Anyhow, that is the update for the Red Sea Max E170. Let's jump into the 30-gallon innovative marine tank. And to be honest, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. This is my favorite tank of all of them. I don't know. It's just something about green. Since I was a kid, green was always my favorite color. And not only that, I am happy because I haven't had any algae issues with this tank. So I think what worked for me was, removing that fluid stratum and just getting sand. As I told you guys before, the fluid stratum seemed that it leached out ammonia and other minerals to the water column, causing, a big algae bloom and cyanobacteria. But another thing that I also think that it's helping could be the house plants that I'm using on this tank. So they're basically eating up all that I don't know what nutrients from the fish poop and all that waste. They eat it up and they consume it, and they basically cleaning. They're basically the filtration for the tank, because I'm only running one filter sock, and this tank is crisp, like it's like crystal clear, and all the fish are doing really wonderful. The fishes that I have here are the German blue ram. I have a new addition, which is the albino swordtail fish. I have some discus. I have some tetras as well. One thing I noticed with the tetras, guys, they do have some white spots, so I'm thinking it is ick. I just need to do a water change, so I'm doing RO water right now, and I'm adding this powder from Seachem to nourish or to supplement with the minerals the plants need. And after that, I'm probably gonna dose this tank with some ick X to see if I get rid of that ick, because I want to save my fish. I don't want them to be sick. I used to have rummy nose, but they tend to be jumping out of the tank. I never knew the tetras jump out of tanks. So if you have tetras, if you can put a lid, I can't due to my driftwood, but if you can put a lid, that way you don't have no fish jumping out. Another fish that I also have in this tank are the autosynclists. I was, when I first set up this tank, I said I need not only the fish that I want for like the show fish, but I wanted a cleanup crew, and the fish that I went with was autosynclists and with Corey Cats. So I talked to the store owner. I told him what he recommend. I was first going with Siamese algae eaters and things like that, but he said don't count the autosynclists out. They are really small, but they do the job. They're really fast at what they do. I could have got plecos. He said the hyphen was like the pleco that cleans the most, but they, as much as they eat algae, that's the same amount that they poo out. So basically, they don't really work. That's one thing I remember with them. They would always have string hanging behind them because they would poo a lot. And then my discus, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this discus. I love discus. They're like probably my top 3 favorite fish. and I think this tank's too small, so I don't know if I will ever upgrade in the future or if I'm gonna rehome them. But for now, I'm just leaving everything in this tank alone. Same thing I'm doing with my saltwater tank, because that seems to be working. Just leaving your tanks alone and just being, nice husbandry, doing your water changes, cleaning out the filtration, and feeding the fish. Everything should be good, as well as cleaning the glass. The plants are doing wonderful here. Before, I was having issue with hair algae, covering the leaves, suffocating the plants, killing them off. But now everything's doing well. Even the new plants that I got, the lilies are doing well. They got some red, and all I'm doing, guys, I just put root taps. When I do water changes, I put the CCAM supplement, to nourish the water with those minerals the plants need, and I dose pump every time I do a water change, and all the plants are doing well. Shout out to my friend Rufino, who gave me those Java ferns, because they are doing well. They're basically 80% of the plants that I have in this tank, and they just make this tank pop. It looks amazing. I couldn't be happier than that. I couldn't ask for more in this tank. I was thinking of adding more plants, but just being a small tank, it doesn't allow me to add more plants, even though I really want to. But we'll see how this tank plays out to be. I do want to upgrade, because I feel like I want to keep discus and angelfish, but this tank is just so perfect right now, so there's no reason for me to upgrade at the moment. Now, for this fish is the peppermint cory cat. It was so hard for me to record this. It probably took me like 15 minutes to get a video, but after I fed it, he decided to come out. Not only he, but his tank mate, which is another cory cat that I have. I love these guys because they're super active. They're always in and about, and when there's food, trust me, they will eat everything. So when I see, they're like the goby from the sand-sifting goby from the saltwater. That's what I think of cory catfish. They do an excellent job, of eating the food that the other fish don't. So that's a good way to get rid of unwanted waste, having a cleanup crew like these. But anyhow, this is the update of the 30-gallon integrated marine tank. I hope you guys like it. Now let's jump to the next tank, and that is the 20-gallon drop-off integrated marine tank. So from the last video that I updated, I told you guys that I was rehoming the unwanted corals. That's why this tank looks so empty. So there isn't that much in this tank anymore, but a couple corals that I have, like the spicy lemon fabia and the the space invader chalice, the green star polyps, the acans. There you guys can see in the background that I don't know if that's even a torch or a hammer, but it's not doing so well, but it's still there. So I'm just gonna leave it there, and hopefully it thrives and it recovers, because hey, that has happened to me before. And then another corals that I have here are some Duncans. I also have the anemone, which isn't doing so well. I never had good luck with anemones, but you know what, I hope that one day I could have a happy anemone in my tank. I don't know why. I just added a wave maker, so hopefully that encourages the anemone to be more happy and to grow and not to be strength up how it is. I also have some red discosoma mushrooms, and these are the biggest mushrooms that I have, and I'm talking about the other discosomas that I had that I just rehomed. This is basically the mothers of the red discosomas that I sold. I have won these in a raffle. Supposedly they were labeled as wild Deadpool mushrooms, but now that was a lie. And this is a top view of all the corals. Space Invader. I always wanted this, but honestly now I know what they're called. Space Invaders. They'll kill anything around them, so they do invade some space. The spicy lemon fiber, I'm gonna rehome it because it grew on the rock and it's in the main display. The anemone, it just hurts seeing it. A little piece of spicy lemon fiber on that rock. The red discosoma mushrooms, they're beautiful. I'm thinking about keeping these. I'm not so sure yet, but I need to think on it. And then the Duncans, same thing. I haven't put these up, but I kind of do like Dunkins, but we'll see what happens with them. I don't know if I'm gonna sell these. But my gold nugget, it's a fish that I always wanted when I first got into saltwater. That's why I don't really want to get rid of this tank, just to keep him, because it was between him or the black snowflake or snowstorm clownfish that I was gonna keep for my main display. But this guy is probably gonna be the reason why I keep this tank. But that is the update for this tank, nothing new. So let's jump on to the next twin, and that is the Innovator Marine drop off tank thing 2. So this tank was empty for about like 2 to 3 weeks, and I just decided to put all the unwanted corals here. And honestly guys, within 24 hours I sold 6 corals, and it came out to be a grand total of $210. So that is gonna help, for me to buy high-end corals or show pieces for my main display tank. So there's gonna be a show called Coral Summer Market here in Silicon Valley on September, I believe so. So I'll be using that budget for that coral, for that show. So I'm thinking whatever I sell these corals, I'm thinking I'll probably get like probably $150. So my budget for that show is gonna be like $400, and all that's gonna come basically from selling these. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I am out. Peace.